I'm amazed that Colbert didn't ask this guy how he kicked the crack habit, or ask why the New York Times continues to waste trees printing its lame newspaper when people can just get the information off the internet.
My guest tonight has written a book called The Night of the Gun. Sweetness and I can't wait to read it. Please welcome David Carr. Hey, Mr. Carr. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Now, you've got a quite interesting biography that you outline here in this book. You are a former crack addict, and you are a reporter for the New York Times. Which of these two do you think is more damaging to society?
I don't think that's really a tough call. I mean, journalism, if it's practiced appropriately, is a civic good. Informs the public about things that are going on. Using crack cocaine is an idiotic activity that will eventually result in mania and death. So, not even close, I guess.
All right. So you haven't read the editorial page of the New York Times lately? Speaking of mania...
I think in terms of toxicity,
crack is by a little bit. By a little. Okay,
just
okay.
a touch.
Is there any relationship in your mind between addiction and journalism?
Well, they're both repetitive activities that...
Gotta do it every day. It's
yes,
a daily
you gotta
newspaper.
wake up, you know, find a story, find a crack ball. So that they're both...
Which is harder? Which is harder in New York City?
Look, in New York City, in certain neighborhoods, you just step out and say, look, and the crack ball comes to you, right?
Right.
Whereas stories, you really have to hunt them down. There's a lot of work involved.
Now, the way you approach this book is fascinating to me. You investigate your own life here. You approached it as a reporter. You approached yourself as a reporter. Did you get an exclusive?
It's funny, but there was not a lot of competition for my life story.
It is a scoop, though. It is a scoop.
It's all mine.
Okay.
It's all mine as far as I know.
But why investigate yourself? I mean, you actually investigate yourself as if you didn't know you. Why not just write your memories down? Wouldn't that be a lot easier, a lot quicker? Bing, bang, boom, book done.
Well, it's a good idea, except back at the time I was, you know, drunk as a goat, high on crack, and so those memories probably weren't the most pristine, well-formed thoughts I ever had. And I thought if I just sat 20 years later and sort of tried to recall them, there might be some blank spots in the tape.
You just fill it in, though.
What?
Make yourself seem
People
heroic.
People have tried that, and they've ended up, well, in a lot of trouble. You know, they end up on Oprah and...
Yeah, but they sell a lot of books until the hammer comes down.
Yeah, but they end up with their arms and legs torn off. I didn't want that.
Did you find yourself, tempted not to report on some aspects of your life? Did you think to yourself, gosh, I'm not sure if I want to tell this part of my history?
Yeah, again and again, I would look at things, and I'd go back, and I videotaped interviews with people, and I'd watch the videotapes and say, boy, I could really pretend like I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
That would be a good idea. But I thought if I let go of one little aspect, cut one little corner, that the whole thing would sort of fall down. So I just decided to put it all out there.
But people do that all the time with their own memories. They cut around the things that they don't want to remember.
That's right.
So are the rest of us being dishonest with ourselves, or...?
Well, if you think about your first date and the story you tell across candlelight, that's a version of you, and it sounds nice. It just doesn't have the virtue of being true.
What surprised you most about yourself?
I thought of myself as a nice young man who got a little mixed up in drugs, sobered up, got custody of his twin daughters, got us off welfare, and worked his buns off, and eventually got a job at the New York Times. When I went back and looked, I was a total frickin' maniac, a jerk. I hit people. I hurt people along the way. And my whole kind of how I looked in the rearview mirror, I was stunned when I got into reporting what a complete and utter jerk I had been, because I'm capable of imitating a human being in sustained spurts right now. So it's like...
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
That is why I will never write a book like this. You now write about new media for the New York Times.
Right.
How long before new media destroys the New York Times?
I think new media has given us new audiences. It's given us access to young people in a way we've never had. We have a terrific audience. It's a way to leverage our assets and show and reach so many more people around the world. The problem is that there's not a great business model to go with it. When you're trading sort of dollars for pennies, long run, it's not great. But we're working on those things. We don't. I do a lot of video for the New York Times. I do a lot of blogging for the New York Times, and we have a ton of new audience, and it's a way for us to reach. And all we got to do is figure out a way to pay the bills.
That's key. Mr. Carr, thank you so much for joining us. The book is The Night of the Gun. David Carr. We'll be right back.